Hi, I'm mcyt. If you're new here, this might be a little weird. Also, that's Dusty. He's kind of off camera, but he's here. He is adorable. I just want to do a behind the scenes of making the shops because I've been having a lot of fun with it, and I thought it'd be interesting to do. And I actually want to start this off with a little bit of context. For simplicity's sake, I can't grab it. I'm actively drawing with my mouse. It's just an easier way to go about this. I have an actual setup. I don't feel like setting it up, and that'd take a lot more work because I just use a laptop for art typically. Or, well, not necessarily anymore. Most of my thumbnails have been just this process. With enough practice, you can get the general hand motions down if you build the muscle to do so, but yeah. And then I have been drawing for over 10 years now, something like that. I just round it to 10 years because it's been a while. And I've been interested in specifically architecture and perspective art for about 6 of them. And then more recently, getting into isometric grids and learning how to do those. And then rekindling my love of environmental concept art. And then I also do writing in my free time. I've taken ceramics classes. I've done some paintings. 2 of them are up here behind me. I really want to avenge that landscape because it's not the greatest. In addition to some odd years of graphic design, photography, and little more obvious filmmaking. And I also want to add, I have not done this process for the community center. The community center, it was like mostly just a function build with the form coming after. I did not do this for my house either, nor did I do it for the train station, which is still currently under construction. And I also didn't do this for the coal mines. But I did want to do this for the shops because the shops have been a purely form build. It is something that is purely aesthetical that I started with the AFK'nn, although I've now slightly changed the design. It used to be much higher up like this, but I like this much older look of a full roof and a low rise here. And then I went through several other design ideas for bits and bobs, and it's too long to write, but your dime, my time here. The first design was just, I wanted to mix a little bit of everything. The ideas I've had for this town, as I've stated in the video, was something industrial steampunk, but like early industrial bordering on even medieval. I wanted the inn to definitely be something historical, something that's been there for a while, that has had evidence of repair, of disrepair, and that it's been fixed over time. While Bits and Bobs was something to be more established, and Your Dime, My Time, something, as I was working on it in later iterations, almost parasitic, just attached on to the established Bits and Bobs. A market that is just added itself on. And building off of that, I went through another iteration using more steampunk references. I really, really like this website. It's fantastic. I've stopped using Pinterest in large part because it doesn't really give the things I want. This website's absolutely great. And if you're working on color palettes, what helped me get this one situated and one I found that's absolutely amazing is this website. So great. Seriously, love it. Go check it out. And also to bring that color palette into Minecraft, I use this palette website that you could select the colors you want, and it's so good. And this version had us a little more classical, definitely something that is like established, kind of fancy, but just on the edge of being blue collar. My hand is out of view. Just on the edge of being blue collar and something high end, because Bits and Bobs has all my trims. It has my treasures, the expensive, important things that people don't really want to get that I have an excess of. And so it should at least be a little bit fancy, something on the edge of the Radiant Raiment from Skyrim in Solitude. And then the third design, I was struggling a little bit at this point. This one leans a lot more industrial, and Your Dime, My Time being on the edge of steampunk, solar punk, of with inspiration from environments like the game Stray. And taking the parts that I liked from each, I ended up with this beautiful sketch that I still need to work out more. As of this point, this is all I have. You're going to be seeing this after I've got it all done, but this is all I have right now. So I need to actually get in game, and we're going to be working through how the hell do I bring this drawing into Minecraft and bring it into 3D. So thankfully, in even the 2D form, I focused a lot on composition, and I'm known for a fact for a while I want the AFK'nn, or just the in this specific spot. And this is a copy of the server from a couple weeks ago, I think. So this may already be out of the date by the time I actually go about recording the video. In practice, the AFK'nn has actually ended up with a very different silhouette than I intended originally. One, because I've actually shortened the structure a little bit. The original design layout for this had this hallway and a second hallway for the rooms. But there's no need for two hallways. I could just have the rooms right there, and it makes it a lot easier, and it's smaller, which is kind of what I want. And then this actually ends up creating a nice small space that I can get away with making pretty cozy. I don't have room for a second set of rooms upstairs. That's perfectly fine. I plan on having a basement, so I can maybe throw some rooms down there. I doubt we're ever going to need more than 2 rooms. I doubt that there's not a lot of people currently on the server. I don't know how many we will have in the future, but I think 2 rooms to AFK'nn is more than enough. And in doing this, I originally had it intended that there would be 2 archways here, and then the actual doorway in would be on the side. I want to still try and aim for that though, because I'm not too happy with this. I like the I like the framing. I don't like the form, or I don't like the function of it. I like the form, I don't like the function, because this is like the one thing in here that I need the actual function of rather than the form. Everything else in this area, form's just fine. The entrance, I kind of need it to function. Otherwise, it just makes it a little annoying to get in the house, or in the inn. And while that looks a little awkward with everything else, I think I might have a way to fix this up just a little bit, and it's a very small change. There's a roof I've been doing that's kind of become my signature for this SMP. It's not a roof I've done before, but it's one I really adore. And it's this specific interval. Because if we look over here, I did this same interval over and over again. And it's become one of my favorites. And even in this one, it's just the same interval, but sideways. So I wouldn't have such a tall roof. So if I just flip it sideways, add a little bit right there, and do this, then suddenly the roof fits in a lot more. Because it's that same shape, even though it doesn't really look like it. Our brain's like, oh yeah, that's the same. And it fits in just a little bit more. I could make it fit in more having roofs like this. If I stick that kind of roof onto one of the side buildings, for example, your Dime My Time, then this would probably fit in a lot more. So we're going to do that. And now I just need to lay out the layout for the other 2 buildings. And working on the form of this using the same 3x3s, well, technically 5x5s, but the interior is 3x3, so I call it a 3x3, as the AFK'nn, that already needs to be taller. That needs to be a lot taller, because instead of these feeling like arches, they just feel like little windows, and that's not what I want at all for this. Luckily, there's always the magic of World Edit to save the day. At least a little bit, make it a little easier. And just a few changes already does so much just to the general form of that building. And I'm actually adoring that a lot. This is an idea I had with walls and panes while I was originally drawing this. And it seems like, yeah, how the hell am I going to get a door here? Well, I've been using trapdoors a lot when it comes to my builds. I don't need these anymore. So, making a doorway here is as simple as just doing one slightly inward. And now we have a door that fits in that area, and it genuinely looks good. I probably won't do exactly... I won't be using exactly these blocks. This is just to help to get the general form down, because I care a lot more about the shape right now, because I already have a palette in mind, and I'd rather be focusing on the shape and then mess around with the colors after. So I definitely messed up somewhere. I was going to start working on the next one, but there are two major things that I love about my sketches, and it's the form of the shapes coming together. It slowly branches up, and then there's the cross section where the middle of the inn's roof hits the edge of Bits and Bobs. With how I have it laid out right now, I can't do that. I need this building to be longer. I need this building to be longer. I need to rework the actual shapes. I did focus too much on the details, and now I'm having to redo a bunch of work. So I need to get back to the basics and just do shapes like over there. Okay, I finally got a solution. This was seriously starting to frustrate me. The only way I could get the exact shape I wanted for this building is by doing just a really normal A-frame, but it looks so horrible and I hate it. And the one way you could fix that is just little bumps, just add an angle to it. And I think the best way to actually really see this is by this roof right here, and just adding and making it slowly go up and connect up with this. I don't want this to go super duper tall, so I gotta make sure I'm careful with this a little bit, because I want this to be lower than all of that and have... actually want this to be even lower than that, so I need to be extra careful here and adjust just a little bit, just a wee bit. And this also lets me have the room for the arches on the sides, but just hiking it up a little bit, just a little bit. And that helps round out such basic shapes just that little bit. I was experimenting with cobblestone and trying to make it look like this, trying to make it look like that. Maybe I could do this, that kind of looks interesting, but none of it ever quite worked out as much as this very simple thing has. And already, that shape is 1,000 times better than anything I've done so far. So let me finish up some of these fine details and get the basics of this, and then we could start working with the fun palette. And the main thing, and part of the reason I'm even recording this video, is figuring out some of the finer details. Where are we adding pipes? Where are we adding machinery? Where's this going? Where's that going? And that's gonna be the most fun part. It is the next day, and I got not much to say for myself. I like certain parts of this, but others definitely are not working. I'm surprised I managed to get the name of the symbol evades me at the moment. I managed to get the "and" symbol really easily, somehow. I don't know how I managed to do that as well as I did. So that's there. I like the idea of this center building being like a brick and mortar kind of thing, and the other one being a little more futuristic. I'm thinking like a storage container kind of vibe. You know how like some buildings are refurbished storage containers and then they put windows and stuff, but still has the same exterior? I like that kind of vibe here, and I need to change this. This is not going to be this roof. I want it to be like a draped cloth. This, however, not working at all. I think what I need to do is change the palette of this to be the same as this. So there's going to be two main palettes across the town. There's going to be the original base palette that I started with, which will signify the older buildings. And then there's the newer palette I'm going to be using for the new buildings that have been kind of added on, that are definitely like, oh, hey, that's doesn't quite fit in. And I want to make it feel like a very historical town that's been around for a while. Now, the issue is, can I actually accomplish that? Because, oh, stars, am I hating these buildings. I don't build modern. I really don't. I can draw it. I can't build it. Can't build it for the life of me. We're gonna try. Some little adjustments and details later. This is looking a lot better. Also, I don't want to do all of this again. I plan on just making this a schematic, and then I'm going to use that on the server so I can just place everything down. So I also there was always been plans for a basement down here for some aesthetic storage purposes, and so that's all down here. And then I'm going to detail these interiors. But all in all, I don't think I mentioned this. I had to rebuild the inn like 2 or 3 more times in order to get it just right. I had to rebuild this so many times. So yeah, that was fun. I had to do that too. But all in all, I think this is about what the final product's gonna look like. So I'm gonna go through and get some more finer details. Also, I really adore this. This is mostly going to be seen from spawn, but yeah, I just wanted like a little balcony or something back here, something a little industrial. Also, I finally figured out what the hell to do for this roof, because I've had it as several different things for a little bit now. But all in all, I think I really adore what we got going on here. So I'm going to keep adding details to this. I just wanted to do a little stop check and be like, oh, this is what's happened. But yeah. I still need to do some finer details, and then we'll talk about some of the tricks I've used for those finer details in a moment. Whoa, what's wrong with the camera? Don't know what that was. Anyway, my normal headphones have ran out of battery, so I got the bulky ones. I am seriously happy with all this, and I've been going through and adding a bunch of little details everywhere, including hiding spots, because I would love in the future, once I get some more buildings down in addition to these, we could maybe get away with hide and seek with only these buildings. But I've hidden hiding spots around. I'm not going to share them. I will show one, because it's so obvious it's painful. But I feel like unless people knew, they wouldn't think that I'd hide a spot right here immediately, using the oldest trick in the book. But we have adorable little spaces to AFK, just 2 rooms. Just simple enough. Also, this is an older trick. I don't think this has been around in the Minecraft fandom for a while. I haven't seen this in ages. But this one's adorable. Also, it helps so people can't get in through the window, mobs can't attack you from the window, and you're not accidentally walking on this, because I was having a problem with that every time I walked in the room. So I imagine that would annoy other people as well. And then ender chest for your stuff, armor stand for your armor, and then you could throw other stuff that you want to throw into the barrels, although they can also just be decoration. And the other room is the exact same. And then there's the aesthetic storage down here. Also, this has gone around several times. I usually see it on Pinterest, but this is just wine stomping spot. I can't think of the actual name of it, but I think if you know anything about wine or like watch older movies, it's noticeable, or I can't think of the correct word, but people know what it is. You don't know what it is, but you know, you recognize. There we go. Recognizable. And I've also thrown hay a lot around here. In addition to decorated pots, I saw some piece of decoration like, oh, if you want to do a wine cellar, you could do these decorated pots. So I've abused the hell out of that. Also barrels and tripwire hooks, which are also being used over there, except with trapdoors, because it's annoying to place these all the time. I've had to place a lot of them because I adore it, but it is annoying to do. And then also brewing stands, because, yeah. And then just random chests as well, which makes this room feel very cramped, and I love that idea. There's another hiding spot. I need light back here, so there's a hiding spot back there. And my idea is the reason, like, why would a bar have hay? Well, this is a really old building, so theoretically there are some new things, there are some old things. Like, this is very much new. It's the newest thing in here, and it obviously stands out. And even on the outside of the building, that stands out. And that's kind of a little bit of the point. Also, the roof has been patched up a little bit over time. And I want to add some more age 2 wood in various spots. Maybe change it to like oak in these really worn down areas. Something like that. I'm not sure if I want to do that exactly or not. I would love to do that for the roof though. Maybe change a few pieces to dark oak. But really old buildings, well, if it gets cold, it's probably gonna really suck in the attic. So we have a bunch of hay down here and there's a bunch of hay in the cellar for that exact reason. Just help thermal, insulate it. There we go. But just help insulate it a little bit, and then storage is just kind of everywhere. Also purely aesthetical. And we're gonna get to B&B. B&B is my baby right now. Actually, that's very fitting. It is my baby. Anyway, we're gonna get to that in a minute, but I want to go through your dime, my time real quick, because I love what I've managed to scrounge into this very little space. And it's much better. That's a caps lock. It's much better at nighttime. And it just ends up being this kind of moody little space, and I adore it. I just love it. And I've also made it so even though I'll be on this side, I still get a decent view and nice background when I'm talking to people. And then of course there's a little community ender chest because it's a copy of the world. I have all my stuff in it. And then my own chest for when people come to grab orders, I can grab it from here, hand it over to them, and just a little book and quill just randomly over here. And then that leads into bits and bobs as well. So if somebody goes into bits and bobs trying to get to your dime, my time, there we go. And I actually, when we got the wither, I got that wither skull. Not this kind of wither skull. We have a mob head mod in the server. And so you can get a light blue charging wither skull head. So I want to place that here instead of the wither skeleton skull. I don't know how to access it. I do not seemingly have an option to do so, even though I have the mod. So that's just placeholder, but I do have it on the actual server right now. And finally, bits and bobs, my absolute little baby. And I love the atmosphere I've managed to hide with some cleverly placed spore blossoms. Also, little armor stands. There is one of each trim on these armor stands. It's just kind of thrown around, and then trims will be 7 diamonds, armor is going to be 3, tools 3, and books 5. Because I tend to get a lot of extra armor, a lot of extra tools, and it's not a big deal for me to craft those for people. Most tools are 3. Armor, I do kind of lose out a little bit on that, so I might change that to 5 or 6, because that's a better estimation. I did wax the signs though, so I can't mess with it. And then this allows me some storage right there, so I can just immediately hand off to people. And then I have backup storage over here, and upstairs is actually where all the trims are gonna be. And if people like want to get a trim, I'll be like, oh, okay, let's head upstairs. We can run around the corner, and I'll have a little desk up here as well, and this will be apparent in a second what it is. And back here is all of them. I slowly did each one, and this is what it's going to look like in the actual server as well. I will do all of them with diamond trims with gold armor, because it makes it really easy to see where the diamond is, where the gold is, etc. I hate that the silence trim doesn't look as good. It doesn't. It just doesn't. I tried like so many different versions of it on a website. It just doesn't. And then this is that little back alleyway. Also, there's details back here, but I'll show more of those in a second. And then you'll come in, you'll grab your armor, like actually grab a full set. And then, no, you don't have to change here. You don't have to change here. Why are you going to change in front of me? Because I'm assuming I'm going to be doing this with another person, like helping them pick out a trim. It's like, no, so don't change in front of me. There's a reason we have the changing curtain over here. Put your current armor down, put on your new armor, come out, and show off. Simple as that. Also, there's one flaw with these windows. You can just walk right in and out of them at all times. But speaking of outside, actually, that extends out here. Okay, cool. That is oxidized. I didn't grab wax versions. Fuck. Okay. I don't know if people have done this yet. Has anyone thought of trash bags? Has anyone thought of trash bags? It's so simple, but great. And then we have pipes. I have a little sign for B&B. And then we have a fake ladder going up to the top. There's some fake pipes and electrical things. And then there's supposedly a storage / docking bay. I would love to have like a fake pier or something here, or like some extra thing showing like, oh, maybe transport is coming to the train station or the transport center. I've been interchangeably using those, and then comes over here as well. Or maybe there's like a little stop specifically for this. Something along the lines of that. I would love to add a bunch of warehouses around the transport center and sort of build that story there in that world building. But honestly, there's not much to this. It's just aesthetics. But I guess this is also hiding spots, which is why I said we could maybe do hiding spots. I think what would be really clever for people to realize, if they know how to trapdoor parkour, you can still get to the roof. You just gotta clear the trapdoors behind you. But you can still get up here, so that's a thing. And then you have a bunch of hiding spots from there, and then you could... Oh, wait, is that an easier way to get up? No, you just barely can't. Oh, that's infuriating. That's gonna be hilarious. Oh yeah, this is like hidden on the side here. I kind of like the just little bit of negative space here, so I'm pretty happy with this going as it is. But I love this from all angles. I will definitely focus on terraforming a lot more later, but it's left up to these just little cliffs right now mainly, because I expect I'm going to be doing a lot of terraforming as time comes. Like, this area was already terraformed, and I've terraformed and raised it up even more to fit these buildings. So terraforming and finishing up last piece is going to be the definitely last thing I do with this town. Although if it seems like I've completely finished an area, because I don't see me adding a lot of stuff to this little space, then we probably will go about some terraforming. But I think that's it. All I have to do is, oh yeah, there's a bridge. There's a bridge so you can actually get over to this area. I'm gonna take all this down into a schematic, and then it's gonna go up on the server. I still have to gather all these resources. That's a good thing about a schematic. I know exactly what I need to gather because I have a habit of overdoing it. But all in all, yeah, that's done. It's great. All I gotta do is put all that in the server, and I'm not too worried because Bits and Bobs has like a lot of stuff in it, but I actually have all this stuff. I have plenty of gold, I have plenty of diamonds, I now have one of every single trim, and I have plenty of diamonds. I have almost 3 stacks of blocks of diamonds. We're good. No worries there. And everything downstairs, all these little trinkets, except for gilded blackstone, I already have a lodestone from us doing other stuff. Enchantment table's easy. I collect plenty of shriekers and some skull catalysts, and this is pretty easy for me to get anyhow. So yeah, that's everything. Thanks for joining me for this little behind the scenes. I'll probably make more of these. I know I have other plans for second channel videos, so stick around, like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. I would love to hear shop ideas. I love making shops like this. I'd love to make more aesthetic shops, not necessarily my own, but I would love to have funny themed shops for the villagers. If you could find an idea for a funny butcher shop or something, or a stonemason shop, that would be great. There's some stonemason that's just absolutely obsessed with stone. The entire walls are just covered in it. Or obsessed with diorite would be even funnier because of the community's mixed feelings on it. Yeah, thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.